Yeah, let's do it, man.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, whether you're live or on replay. We appreciate you. I'm Melinda Grimaldi, title attorney and founder of Grimaldi Law Firm and co-host of Damage Control. I'm so happy to be doing the show with Anthony. We started it to help troubleshoot your deals, troubleshoot your marketing, your business strategies. And because basically we were always helping and like doing damage control for you guys. So we figured might as well do it live and start bringing out some topics and things that are coming up. We got some really cool things coming up in the months to come and the weeks to come. So stay tuned for some new ideas and things we're going to be doing. But I'll let Anthony introduce himself and then we'll get right to it.
What's going on, guys? Anthony Angelillo, co-founder of Tag Team Nation, branch manager of Paramount Residential Mortgage Group here in Miami Shores. I've been doing this business for about 17 years now, and Melinda is spot on. It's every damn day we're doing damage control. Yesterday was damage control. This morning was damage control.
Always.
And it's constant, but it's fun, man. And it honestly makes who we are as real estate agents, lenders, title agents, insurance agents. It's what makes who we are. That's the bottom line. So anyone that has any challenge in files, we dare you to send them because we'll do damage control on those, and those will be sold per my shirt. So
double dog dare you, right?
Triple dog dare.
All right. So thanks, Anthony. And now I'd like to introduce you all to introduce all of you to Chandra, our guest for today. She's a real estate agent with EXP and does a lot of things that I can't keep all in my head. So I'm going to have her explain to you guys what she does and how great she is, and then we'll get started.
Oh, hey, everybody. Thanks for having me on here. First of all, you guys do such an amazing job. The content and the value that you guys give it's absolutely amazing. Thank you for always doing this. But yeah, my name is Chandra Etienne. I'm the team leader of the Chandra Etienne Group with EXP Realty. I'm also on the YPN Leadership Board, state director for Florida Realtors, and sit on 2 committees there as well. So mom, wife, wearing 42 hats at a time at all times.
Yes.
Wow.
And she has 2 adorable little boys like me. So yes. When I see them jumping on her, I'm like, oh my God, that's
yeah.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, great. So you picked this topic. I think it's a great topic. I really love the idea of it. And it's definitely something that we get so many questions on. Whenever we touched on it on a different topic or in something that's more general, there's always so many questions on it. So let's get
this question literally just now.
So I want to start with why did you pick this topic as something that you wanted to share?
2 things, 2 main reasons. I've always noticed that most agents, it's probably like the number one, most common question that I hear from agents. They're always like, well, what is the best CRM? Which one should I use, right? And then the second thing is, I don't care what business you're in. If you don't have customers, you don't really have a business. So you need a CRM to manage all of your relationships, right? So it's pivotal. It's so important, regardless if you're a real estate agent, a lender, a real estate attorney. It doesn't even matter what you do. It is just so important. And I just feel like it's such a common issue with realtors. They don't actually manage their relationships. They don't manage their contacts or anything like that. They're always thinking that oh, well, which CRM should I use? And it's doesn't even really matter. Just use one. Even if it's Google Contacts, just use it, So that's that's the main reason why I chose it. And I'm kind of, I don't want to say obsessed, but I'm very into my CRM. I want to make sure that it's always organized and stuff. And other agents that know me, they end up asking me questions. And then I end up just, sitting there masterminding just on this topic.
Yeah.
So
love it.
Love
it. Okay, great. So what CRM do you use? Let's just get that out the way because I know everyone's going to ask.
I personally use Follow Up Boss.
Okay.
I love Follow Up Boss. I've probably tried, I don't even know how many, countless. But I use Follow Up Boss. It's my favorite.
Awesome. So, okay. I guess, what are the tips, or do you have any tips about choosing? Let's, like, you know, when you're looking for something, or is it really just whatever one you're going to use the most, like it actually use is really like the best
Yeah.
strategy? But give us a little bit more on that.
I don't think so. Like, okay, so I know I said use something, but it really depends on your business. So it's like, are you a solo agent? What's your budget like? Do you have a team? Are you buying leads? Are your customers mainly Sphere, your referrals? Do you have a lender partner that's going to partner up on purchasing leads? It really depends, right? So not everyone's business is the same. So because of that, that's what basically determines what CRM you should use. So, but I think that regardless of the CRM that you use, it should have basic capabilities. Like, you should be able to tag, you should be able to text from it, you should be able to log calls in it. It should be able to integrate with your website or with whatever lead sources you have. It's our data bank, right? So the best one really depends on what's your business model and
Right.
what's your budget. Because you have some that are free, you have some that are $25, and you have some that are a couple $1,000 a month, you know? So it really depends.
So
Yeah, for sure.
let me ask this question. So what if I'm a new agent, I don't have a budget, and I'm with a firm that has a CRM? Do I use that CRM or do I not use that CRM? What's the advantages of that and the disadvantages of that?
Well, you're not paying for it, so that's the advantage.
Yeah.
Something is better than nothing. That's
Yeah.
the advantage. But if you are going to use your firm's CRM, I would ask basic questions. Do you own all of your contacts that you put in there? Can anybody else access your leads in your database? You know, that's really important. I think that as realtors, we are independent contractors. We still run our own businesses. So you want to make sure that you own your contacts. You want to make sure that you own your database. But if you have nothing and you need to start with something and your broker is providing something, start with that. But I would always suggest owning your own database for sure. Eventually, for sure.
Yeah, I just had that question, and that's why I asked you that question. And Follow Up Boss is an amazing CRM. But if you don't own the data, then you're giving your data away, and data is priceless. So you answered.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, so you just mentioned something that I want to elaborate on with regards to we're our own businesses. All you agents are your own businesses, and that's so true. And what's really important when you run a business and that you're trying to grow and be successful at is knowing your numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have a CRM, it's impossible to really know your numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't know where your leads are coming from. You can't tell which ones are the best ones, which ones actually close, because you can't play around with that data. And then you have nowhere to put the data, right? And putting it on some Post-its and an Excel spreadsheet, a little here, a little there, it's not going to be able to be comprehensive. So
Right.
we always talk about knowing your numbers. And this is one big advantage of using a CRM to its fullest capabilities, because you're able to find out where are my leads coming from, how good are the leads that are coming from different sources. And when was the last time? And you'd be surprised how much stuff you lose if you don't put it somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give you a little backstory myself for you guys to understand. Like 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, I got a CRM for my firm. And I always thought I didn't need one because my business is very different, right? I'm getting my deals really from agents or referral sources that are in the business, and I'm hired once I get the file already. It's very rare I have to do follow-up with the buyer or seller if I get the recommendation from the agent. So I didn't think I needed it for that purpose. But I still get so many calls from Google, and I get calls for other types of matters, and I get calls for, and then sometimes an agent will tell me about a deal, but it doesn't I am able to follow up on certain things better. So it's just a beautiful way to make sure I have all my information in one place. And then I started to realize that I was referring out a lot of work for things that I didn't do. So why was that? I started to realize, there's a lot more people I could follow up with. They didn't decide. Like, I also do some other things so I could be able to follow up. Maybe I haven't heard back in a week or two. I have them documented there that I spoke to them. So even now, like when you have a moment that you're slow, go back and call those archives, because you never know. They might not be, they might still need your help, or they might be needing it soon.
That's so
For
funny.
sure.
That Valerie, who's on this call, is doing that for me right now. And she has a whole list right now. I shit you not, of probably 15 people right now that are actually still interested. So that's digging up your old pipeline. That's the whole purpose of the CRM. So
Yeah.
that's
And
awesome.
current clients too, right? So like one thing that I like to do, once somebody closes, I automatically tag them with the year that they closed, because we know that people are going to move every, what is it, about 8 years now?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, we're in 2020. Guess who I'm calling in 2027? Everybody who closed in 2020, because they're more than likely going to need to now sell their house. And I love to put little details in contact records. If they're a mother, if they're a father, are they a police officer, are they a nurse, and send them relevant information and talk to them about relevant stuff. So like what I did in the beginning of COVID, I literally went into my CRM, pulled everybody that works in healthcare and sent them a $5 Starbucks gift card,
Wow.
and got a listing, and that person needs to buy. You know what I mean? And
That's a good $5 coffee
Awesome.
right there.
$5 Starbucks gift card, $5. And then I ask people on social media, like, who's in healthcare? Not just nurses or doctors. I don't care what you do. Like, even if you're in the IT department, like who's in healthcare? Put them all in the CRM. Now I literally just built a database of people who are in healthcare. So it's more than just like the leads that you buy. It's the relationships. That's what the R in CRM stands for. It's the relationships, right? So we
Yes.
try to build the relationships with them that way. Who are teachers? Now I know who to contact before the school year starts. Even if it's just to say, hey, how are you? Is there anything I can help with? Not the sleazy who needs to buy or sell real estate. Like, I'm in
Right,
real
right.
estate.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
do. Like, so, I'm trying to come from value, and you can only come from value when you know little details about the person. And if you don't know, Facebook stalk them. They put everything on Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. It's
It's
amazing. It's
true.
amazing what we can find, right? So,
Yeah.
love it. I mean, following up with people and having relevant information to give is great.
Hmm.
It could also be used. Do you use your database to send out newsletters or and target things a certain way? How do you?
Yeah.
And I think Follow Up Boss has some built-in stuff that don't they?
Yeah. So you can send out like mass emails. It integrates beautifully with MailChimp. So I'm able to send out newsletters to specific people depending on what it is. So like, and everybody's tagged essentially where they were inquiring, like if they wanted to buy, what areas they wanted to buy in, whether it's a city, zip code, and then the sellers as well. So if somebody's a homeowner, I know where their home is located. So if I have a buyer who needs to buy something in, I don't know, Miami Shores, and their price point is a certain thing, I know to just search homeowners in my database that have a home in Miami Shores. Hey, I have a buyer. This is what's going on with the inventory. This is what they can afford. Have you thought about selling your home? So I do that with newsletters, mass emails. I don't necessarily do mass texting. There's too many lawsuits and stuff going on with that right now. But I do one-off text messages to people once we've established some sort of a relationship or something, or if they inquired first, whether from my
Right.
website, an ad or something like that, then I have permission to reach out to them. But I don't necessarily like mass text, but I
Yeah.
definitely send like mass emails and stuff like that. Yeah.
I love that. So, how are you pulling your relationships from social? Because it's amazing how we build relationships on social media.
Mm-hmm.
We probably started our relationship on social media
Yep.
at first, and just from following each other and having mutual friends. So you start that way, and then it slowly starts to turn into something more. And so, how are you? How do you do it? Do you like, because I'm sure you've heard this before, where people say Facebook, Instagram, your followers, your contacts there, they could disappear any day now, right?
Oh
Like
yeah.
they can go away, and then all of a sudden, what do you have? You don't have those anymore. So what happens? You need to pull and extract from social and bring it somewhere else. So how do you have any strategies or tips on that?
I tell them I'm gonna send them something. So they have to give me their email.
You know what? I have
It,
this for you. Let me send you
that's
this.
it.
Yeah, yeah,
Do
yeah.
you
That's
send them
really it.
content? Is that what you're doing? Like sending content?
So, okay. So for example, in the beginning, of COVID, when I literally said, hey, who works in healthcare? Then they would either comment on the post, or they would send me a DM. We have a conversation. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Where do you work? How are things? How are you? You know what? Thank you. As a little thank you, I would love to send you something. What's your email address?
Wow.
That is it. Everybody got an e-gift card. I didn't mail something.
Yeah.
I'm not about to go into Starbucks, obviously, right now, right? So I need their email to send them something. And by then, we've already had a conversation. I'm not just going to random people like, give me your contact info. No, we've already had some sort of a conversation. So it's easy for me to be like, oh, I want to send you something. Or, you know what? I would love to connect outside of Instagram or outside of Facebook. What's your email? What's your phone number? It's easy.
I love
Just
that.
ask.
Just gotta ask, right?
You just gotta ask.
And then are you manually putting that content in, obviously, your CRM follow-up box?
Yeah. When it's from social media, I manually do it. Yeah.
Okay.
And how do you keep track? Like, how do you remember to go in? Or are you the type that will go in right away, not to forget it? Or do you like have a certain time where you scroll through and extract, or just curious? Cause that kind of happens to me
immediately. Immediately. Because if I say, oh, I'll do it later, it never gets done. So if it's something that I can get done like in under like 2 minutes, I'll just do it right then and there so I don't forget.
Yeah.
So I just do it immediately.
Makes sense. So I know we have a lot of people probably on here that are watch later that maybe have one, they don't really use it properly yet, or they want to switch, or they never used them before. They've been in business at least a couple years. So they have contacts and they have info everywhere. Do you have any suggestions of how to get started properly in a new CRM? Like, where should they start? Should they just start inputting their contacts, that people they know? What do you think?
So I would start with who you know, and then who you've done business with. And not just people who've bought or sold with you, but lender partners, title reps, other vendor partners. Put everybody in the CRM and then tag them as such, right? And then it's funny because I don't think people realize how many people they know. Like, most people have an iPhone. If you go to the bottom of your contacts list, I think people would be surprised to see that they probably have thousands of contacts in their phone. The easiest way that I'm aware of to get the contacts out of your phone would be to like maybe, I believe what I did was sync it to Google Contacts.
Yep.
Right. And then most CRMs should be able, at least the good ones, should be able to integrate with Google, G Suite, even Office 365, honestly. But I do know that Google Contacts is the easiest to just get the contacts from your phone, sync it to there, and then have it, pull it out as a CSV file and then import it. But start with who you know.
She's got it all figured out. Wow. This is impressive stuff.
So start with who you know, tag them accordingly.
And not just like in real estate, your nail tech, who does your hair, your barber, who's your mechanic, who changes your oil, who washes your car. I got a new car in November. He's going to buy a house from me, my car salesman, and his mom. His mom and sister live together. His mom and sister need to move out of their house in Homestead. And he was literally waiting for his tax return for this year to buy a house because he came from a different country. Everyone you know, put them in your CRM. It doesn't matter. It's not just like work people. Everywhere you go.
Yeah. That's so good. And then all those obvious, well, we're not really doing networking events like we used to, right? But like those events, those cards you collect, right? I don't know if you're like me. I mean, I'm embarrassed to say it. One of these drawers back here is full of business cards. I don't like, we put them in a spreadsheet now just to have, and then I have to get a different CRM actually to work on. But in the meantime, we're like, it's already ready to go so we can import. But there's like so many cards. I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't get rid of them, but they're in my system. But I don't know what I don't know what to do with them. I don't know. Do you keep the hard cards?
I do until I eventually put them in my CRM, because it doesn't make sense to leave it in the drawer. But I do. The second drawer of my desk to the right is full of cards. But it's always better to get the cards than to give the cards, because you'll follow up. You don't know if the other person will. So I always get the cards. I don't care if the person doesn't ask me for theirs, because I know I'll follow up. So I ask for theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been like, whenever I come after an event, I send, my assistant helps me like put them in my data sheet, but I'm sure I have some that I missed. So I think one of these days I'm just going to get them all scanned and get like a virtual to confirm that they're all on my list. And then I'm just going to, once they're in my list, okay. Like you do not what is that? Marie Kondo? Like, you do not bring me joy. Like you need to, I need to get rid of these cards. But yeah, so, and then, you know, from there, you know, kind of tag them to their industry and things like that.
There's apps now that scan the business card that will take that into your CRM. So the old days, keeping the actual, you know,
or they'll read it and they'll like that data will export, like some cards, they're more readable than others, but they'll read the card and then you could export a list and they could just be edited as they get, you know, as that didn't scan well. So that's a super great, my scanner does that. It's the Fujitsu Scan Snap.
Oh, love it.
Really good investment.
Not
cheap, but they're really great, especially for us that we scan so many documents. There's one on every desk. But so, okay. Now I put them all in. Now what? We have everybody in. Everyone's tagged. Prior client or this or that or whatever industry they're in, if that's relevant. And then what? What should they do then?
Okay. So all past clients, I have them on not a drip, but like automated action plans essentially. So they have to get a call from me every 90 days. Automatically.
So
even if I send emails, they have to get a phone call from me every 90 days.
So these are clients you've closed.
These are clients that I've closed.
You check in with them at least once every quarter or so.
Yes.
By phone, which is so important. So how do you keep track of that? Do you have like a workflow you apply to that client, or do you do it manually?
No, this is a workflow that I apply to the client. So because my CRM allows me to log my calls, it'll automatically pop up in my smart list when it's been exactly 90 days since the last time I called them. So I don't have to do anything. I basically set up the action plan one time and then it just goes, you know, as long as I put the person on, you know, a 90-day touch point, phone call touch point action plan. Every time 90 days has come from the last time I've given them a phone call, they'll automatically come up on my list. And then you can do that for any client. So like or any lead for that matter. So like if you have a lead that says, you know, I want to buy in a year, 12 months from now, I'll follow up with them every 12 weeks. So whatever they say in months, I do in weeks, because more than likely, first, we already know, like there's real estate agents everywhere. So if we're not following up with them, they're going to talk to somebody else. So Absolutely. I'd rather follow up too much than too little. Yeah. So if they tell me, oh, in 6 weeks, cool, I'm following up with them. I mean, if they say 6 months, I'm following up with them every 6 weeks.
So,
you know,
let me ask you one question. So you keep mentioning job occupancy randomly, which, you know, whether you set up a campaign or not. Mm-hmm. Ironically, this morning I was in the elevator and I saw on social media a gal just became an RN. So I'm thinking, man, you know, that's a great time to congratulate that individual, her test, and, you know, maybe send out a gift that you're talking about, an e-gift. But how would you break the ice on something like that? Would you drip them on programs pertaining to registered nurses, or, you know, what would you?
But I wouldn't drip. Like, so I don't like, first, most people don't even read all their emails. People's inboxes are just a hot mess nowadays. So the only people that are getting, honestly, like the only people in my CRM that are actually getting touched very often, like in the form of an email, are people who are set on like some sort of a property alert or something like that. But in that situation with the nurse, if I see that there's something relevant going on in real estate that pertains to nurses or those in the medical industry, I'll send it to her. Nice. You know, and maybe even if I have her phone number or her email, everybody reads text messages. Over 92% of text messages are read like within a minute, right? So if I have their phone number, I'll send them a text like, hey, just check your email. I sent you something that might be valuable to you, you know, something like that. But I don't necessarily like to drip on people. They're just going to unsubscribe. And then next thing you know, you're going to have a bad email, what's the word? Email reputation and things like that. And then, you know, the servicers will start blocking you if you're just always dripping on everybody and people start unsubscribing. So yeah, just keep that in mind too.
Do you use video bomb type of
yeah.
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 Does Follow Up Boss integrate with bomb or have their own
It
video
does.
capabilities?
They
Awesome.
integrate with BombBomb. Honestly, they integrate with like everything. So even if you don't use BombBomb, if you use Loom, if you use Dub, because there's like other other platforms, they all integrate. And it's, if you are sent, for me, that's my highest like conversion, like the activity that I do that gets the highest conversion is a video. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Like, especially during like the thick of quarantine, like March, April, the open rate on BombBomb newsletters. Yeah. I was sending one once a week at that point. Like, this is the latest in real estate. This is what's cooking, you know? And let me tell you, it was good. And I would repurpose that video on social. I should start doing. I'm slacking on the. Not gonna lie, I haven't posted or done a video or done a BombBomb in a long time. But
it's been a while for me too.
Yeah, I gotta get back on that one of these days. But yeah, so I love that. So you're integrating the platforms. What if like we're so busy? Maybe I'm asking for myself. Do you have any advice for an individual who's very busy and wants to build out their CRM but has no time to do it? I mean, I have it. I have one for clients, but those are clients of the firm, and it's a little different. I want to build out a relationship manager versus like a client manager, because for me, it's very different. So I want to build out like a HubSpot, you know, just for relationships or something like that. Do you have any advice? I mean, I have assistants, but my assistants are already like maxed out. Like, I need to hire, you know, we're trying to hire. So I don't know. Have you had any good experience with people who, or have you hired someone to help you build something out like that?
So it's funny. I'm actually in the process of probably hiring a virtual assistant just for that, just to help manage the systems, like the tech part. But if you can't hire somebody, you literally just have to time block, right? So like earlier this week, me and my husband sat together. We're doing our schedules because the boys are home. And there's things he needs to work on his business. So I'm like, guess what? On Tuesdays and Thursdays, you're going to have to wake up an hour earlier, you know? So now he's dedicating like from 5 to 6 o'clock twice a week, 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. twice a week to work on something specific, right? So that's basically what we have to do. If you can't leverage with money, you have to leverage with time. So you got to time block.
Yeah. Time blocking is so tough with kids, you know, and I have so much help too, because I have to wake up around 4:30 to like, so my kids don't, kids don't sense me.
With you saying that.
I know it does hurt, but eventually you get used to it. Eventually you just get used to feeling pain at 4 a.m. And I do that.
I get random text messages. Hey, what's going on with this file? Dude, good morning, my ass. 5 a.m.
And that's only because of my kids, if I wake up at 5:30, they sense me and they wake up. So I had to roll it back higher so that, you know, they're able to kind of not feel me in their deep sleep, because they have some sort of like spidey senses, you know? I don't know if you feel that. Like, you're like, I'm going to get up early today, and then they get up early.
Nope, that's the day they are all of a sudden want to be up bright and early.
Yeah. So I do that. So for me, like I'm at a capacity issue of my free time. Right now I got to focus on my deal. So I'm thinking of hiring, I don't know if I should hire another full-time or a VA, but someone just to manage kind of that. I think because that's just so huge, right? Anthony, how did you build out your HubSpot? Because his HubSpot is like a piece of art.
It's insane. I mean, honestly, I took honestly 2 years, but I time blocked Friday and Saturday. So Friday after my work day, all the way like a crackhead, I would be hammering away. And I know I could have delegated that work, but I chose not to, because I knew exactly the pain points in the business of where I wanted to deliver those expectations and try to buffer times and, you know, explain details and milestone processes and things like that. But It took me, honestly, probably almost 24 months to build mine out. But that's with
Yeah.
funnels, and that's with, amazing work flow automations, and exactly what you ladies are saying, templates with bomb videos in there that are pre-set in expectations before they even have it. Video is everything. I just proved a point these new guys got hung up on, and I noticed the conversation. I said, come here for a second. And I gave him, the little spiel of what not to do and what to do. And then we created a video, and the video went out, and I made him a bet, crab legs, that the consumer would obviously, chime back in. And lo and behold, she did. She was basically puking from the mouth, God bless her, in an email, and it was everything and then some. So now we have a deal in Orlando area because of video. So the video talks to the client, and it's just the best way to approach clients, and everything that I do is all video. Everyone that knows me, it's video, and more video. So
you bet crab legs?
Yeah, for real.
I love that. I'm like,
well, I'm dying for king freaking crab, man. And I was like, dude, you're gonna owe me crab legs, and there's no way she's gonna call back. I'm like, watch, I guarantee you. And yeah, I'm already pre-approved with a different lender. Great, congratulations, agree first, right? And obviously really disenchanted with the other lender, and telling me the whole story in an email because of the video. The video is 4 minutes. That's a long time, but I had to express everything on there to train the individual, and also say, look, video goes a long way. A phone is the best. That's to get engaged and call with someone, but that's the beautiful thing about Follow Up Boss and all these other CRMs. Those of you that are using Commissions Inc., Boomtown, Firepoint, Follow Up Boss, I've tried them all, but you really need to know how to edit your own content. If you're not controlling the content that goes out, it's not good. It's not good.
It needs to sound like you. Yes. It can't sound like a robot. It can't look automated. It can't sound automated. So you actually have to spend the time to make it sound like you, and put yourself in there with video.
Yeah.
Not just for leads, client, everyone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny, Anthony, I bet even though it took almost 24 months to get your systems the way that it is, there's probably still room for improvement or other things that you can do. Like, it's never a finished project.
Every day. I got Melinda hitting me up saying this email needs to be grammatically correct. Well, you know what? That's the beautiful thing about it. I love that because it's a work of art. It continues to grow. Text messages right now we're having issues with. Got to fix that. It's a full-time job, but the beautiful thing is it allows you to scale your business as an individual, and it helps you excel. And it's service. It's bringing service levels to everyone. Ironically, everyone will get a link very soon because that's one of the things. It's funny. I just had a meeting with 2 agents, and I asked them what they needed help on. They needed help on a CRM, and they needed help on basically organizing their business. So we're going to start doing that for agents and trying to help agents out, organize their business, tap into our platform, and have them come on board to our CRM and try to tag team that together. So if I have something built out, I'd be more than honored to help build out something for these agents. So
I love that.
Nice.
Look at that.
I gotta show you.
You've been talking about that for a while. So
I gotta show you. It's almost done. So we'll see.
Awesome. I love it. Yeah. So I think for me, like I know I want to invest in doing a relationship manager. I have a lot of things I want to do with it, and I'm willing to invest the money and some of my time also. But it's like almost like, which one do I pick? Because once I go in, I got to go in all the way, and then I don't want to turn back and switch my mind. So I think I'm gonna, because I obviously it's something like there's real estate ones, but they're not necessarily the right fit for me because I'm not in it in the same way, and there's a lot of defaults and beautiful things that they could do for agents. So I'm thinking more of like a HubSpot, but a HubSpot is like so bare bones. You really have to build it out all the way.
Yeah.
Yes, it's for the techies, man. But it's a rabbit hole, and it's open API to everything. And now they're going to be integrating with our bacon system, which is Encompass. So that's going to be really wild.
Oh, that's nice.
It's already connected to Command for KW agents. So that CRM is massive, backed up by Google. It's wild, man. That's Follow Up Boss. I love. That's one of my, I love that CRM. I think anyone that's, you know, just beginning in the industry, I would agree with you. Follow Up Boss is definitely the way to go. HubSpot is extremely in depth, but we'll see.
But you got to be able to like, you got to be into that, you know, like you're into that techie stuff. Weren't you, didn't you do that in undergrad or something like that? Weren't you in like in computers?
Management information systems. Yeah.
Yeah. So then that's your thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. It's
boring.
You know, you have,
boring.
Yeah. It's too much. It's going to be too, like for me, although I know how to do that stuff, I don't enjoy it. And it takes too much time for me. If it took you 24 months, it would have easily taken me like 4 years to do the same thing.
But what you said, Chandra, is that you're providing content, and in 90 days, you know, you're calling. The content that you're sending is priceless. That most agents and most lenders don't want to do that because number one, CFPB could be down their butts, and it's a compliant. You know, obviously compliance is everything in this business. I'm not talking about rates and programs. That's the last thing I'm talking about. We're talking about how to solve, you know, basically solve issues with clients when we send out that content based on what they're tagging us on. So if they're telling me they have bad credit, that's what they're getting is credit restoration stuff and, you know, pertaining about how to boost their credit. But it's the content. If you can't control the content, you're not controlling yourself, and you're 1099 in this business. You are a subcontractor. So it's different, man. To each.
And then especially if you're paying for leads, being able to go back and say, okay, where are the leads that I paid for? Where are they out of my pipeline? Have they closed? And what was the result of them? Are they the lower end spectrum? Are they mid, whatever, in terms of commission amounts, so that you can actually see, is this worth my time and money? You know, or do I need to change a zip code, or do I need to whatever tweak? But you can't make that like responsible boss analysis of your decisions and what you're spending if you're not paying attention, if you have nowhere to look for the information.
Right. You got to inspect what you expect.
My drive and motivation.
I like that. Did you see that's a quotable.
What was that?
You have to inspect what you expect.
I love that.
So you need to be able to track everything and then do like a quarterly audit.
Yes.
Right. So, you can't just be spending money on things and then not know whether or not it's even giving you a return, you know? So like, I keep bringing up COVID because it's still like a thing, but like when everything basically shut down, that was the first thing I did. I literally went into my lead sources and saw like what wasn't working, cut that out. What was working, increase the budget. You know, that's what you have, but you have to have something in place, a CRM in place, in order to even know where to spend your time and energy, you know?
Yep, exactly. And you know what? I talk about this. I do it some, but even I could do it better. Everyone could do better. So don't feel that.
No, we all can.
We all can do it better. We could all reflect on our numbers better. We could all be better in our CRMs. We could all be better. So just because we're here talking to you guys about it, don't think our stuff's perfect, you know, and be afraid to start. Because, you know, you got to start, you know, this is something so important, is just starting to build out your CRM and start to put your data in there. And that's super, super important. We have a question here. Would you mind asking where are places to start to find content? I'm struggling with that part, need inspiration. Do you have any suggestions?
Miami Realtors, Florida Realtors, NAR, they literally provide us free content. And not just like articles and stuff, but the data, market trends, you know, week over week, month over month, year over year, they do everything. So go to Miami Realtors, MiamiRealtors.com, MiamiRE.com, Florida Realtors, and NAR. They literally have blogs, articles, and content for us to literally take and provide to our consumers. So I would start there.
That's definitely good suggestions. And then even like if you start to tag these different industries or things that are going on or that their parents or like back to school, what are you voting for? Like, it's just like, here's some suggestions. Here's what I have a friend, she's a therapist. Here's what she's talking about, you know, with this, or like, you know, find other colleagues or people in different industries that have value to bring and bring them into your sphere and share what the value that they're providing. You know what I mean? Like we did that at one of our first episodes was right at the beginning of COVID. We brought in a good friend of mine. She's a psychotherapist, and she just went in and told everybody how to like relax. You know, everybody down, you know? And so it's just a great way to provide value is look at who else do you love to watch or listen to that is not in real estate. You could always find a way to relate and provide value to your real estate following with that, you know, because it doesn't always have to be about real estate, right? So
no, I like to provide stuff about business because we are a business. We just happen to be in real estate, right? So I like to post things and share things about business development and just business overall.
Yeah, same here. Anthony and I do that a lot too. Yeah. Yeah, he always has stats and sale things.
I try to stay away from the business. Look, everyone's going through tough times. There's always an issue with something. You know, millennials right now, they just don't have enough significant down payment. So those are problems. And so that's what we want to try to do is solve the issues at hand. The content, to answer that question, that is the content I would be populating. Everybody's doing about, I mean, everyone's talking in my industry about rates right now. They're extremely low. That's the last thing I really want to talk about. Everyone knows rates are low. Okay, it's all over the news, but what can I do different? That's what you guys should really be thinking about in terms of content and marketing. So think like the consumer. That's what I always say. Think like the consumer.
Yeah, and figure out what those objections are. That's a really good idea though. I love how you tagged and you said like the different industries, even like just back right now back to school. It's a great thing to reach out to people like, hey, I'm just checking in with you. How you're, you know, what are you deciding for school next year? It's a great conversation to
segue,
and just to check in with people and then, you know, see what's going on. Like I actually started looking into homeschooling because I'm like, if I have to pay, because of where we live, my kids in private school. So now I'm like, shucks, you know, am I going to pay private school for 30 minutes of Zoom? Like this is getting crazy. This is getting crazy, you know, and it's like, it's a lot of money. So I'm like, and I have to, you know, pop on Zoom at the teacher's schedule instead of like at my schedule. So at least if I, you know, so it's a great, for me, that topic of conversation with other parents is a great idea. So, but if you're not a parent and you're, you know, there's pets, there's like so many different things. Find your tribe. You see, I'm sure you'll start to see trends as you're adding people into your CRM of what you're tagging them with. And then you can start thinking of those tags as ways to find content as well.
And talk about what you actually know and are passionate about, because people can sniff out whether or not you're just BSing them or just sending the same thing to everybody. So like recently I've been sharing more about systemic racism in real estate. It's relevant to conversations. I'm in real estate, and I think that a lot of people don't know how deeply rooted and systemic it actually is, especially in real estate. So I've just been sharing a little bit about that, not necessarily like on one-off emails or anything like that, but more so on social media. And you know, and things like that, because those are your contacts too. That's just a different platform. Don't think of social media as just social. Those are contacts. That's potential business right there. That's all potential relationships. So I share things like that because I actually know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to post about things I don't know about and that I'm actually not passionate about, because then it's not authentic. And I think people can sense that.
Of course.
Absolutely. But you know, sometimes the passion can be in the little things. So my husband made fun of me because I cut open this avocado a couple months ago and it was like the perfect avocado. And I was going to make some guacamole. And after I cut open that avocado, you know, like that perfect avocado.
Oh yeah.
Soft.
I have the perfect picture in my head right now.
No bruises, no black blemishes. It was like perfect. And I'm like, what is better? So I'm on Instagram. I'm like, what is better than the perfect avocado? You have to, unbelievable how much comments I got on that. Like sometimes, I was just being myself. Like, I love this. I love avocado, whatever. So sometimes, like, don't overthink it too. Obviously, you're not going to send a newsletter about the perfect avocado, but when we're talking about content for social media and things like that, you don't have to, it doesn't have to always be so serious. And just something that you truly just be yourself, you know, Anthony?
I'm a foodie, man.
You
got
always show up.
Yeah, I
Hawaiian
see.
with avocado, man. What are we making? A dip? That's what we should do.
Make some.
Damage control avocado dip.
Oh, we did say we were gonna do a showdown on. Was it for guacamole? Yeah.
Yeah.
One of these days.
We'll do it.
When we're not in quarantine anymore, we'll do a showdown, a guacamole showdown. But I love it, love it, love it, love it. So
What
Anthony,
other questions do we have?
yeah, I was gonna say, what's
On
next? Do you have some
Facebook?
questions on here? I know people always have so many questions about CRMs, so don't be shy. We did get some questions about the CRM again. They clocked in late, so I told them about which one you used already. Let's check on Facebook. I love it. Come on, guys, give me something.
Gio's
Okay.
on here. Gio, you're doing something with us right now too on Baptist Hospital, I believe. So she created content with us, and that content's now going out to all registered nurses and doctors and community program heroes. And we made that piece of content first. She's on DC right now. But guys, all about content. I love job title and focusing on that. That's big. That's target marketing at its finest, because now you're really just narrowing down who you want to focus on.
Definitely. I love it. I love it. I love it. So what are the big takeaways? I always like to regroup on takeaways. What was her quote? I know you always write them down, Anthony. So what did you say?
I don't
inspect what you expect.
You have to inspect what you expect.
Didn't get the last part. Slow down. Inspect what you
Expect.
That's
a good one. It's a good one.
You expect. All right. Cool.
So when you're looking for a CRM, we want to find one that, integrates with the other tools that you're using. You want to make sure you own your data, right? If you're going to be using someone else's system or someone else's account, you want to make sure that that it has all the you'll be able to text, be able to tag. And what was the other one? I think you said one more thing. Email.
You're able to email, put notes, log phone calls.
And be able to apply a workflow, right? That's the whole point of this, is to have some sort of automate your follow-up. So it won't make the call for you, but it'll remind you that day that this is your list of things you got to do for the day, and these are the tasks that you got to clients you got to follow up on, or past deals, leads, etc. So that once you have it, make sure you add everybody in. If you're just getting started, add the people you know. Eventually, you can start farming on social media and extracting people through different types of Google contacts, extract from social media by having different options for giveaways, or do you know anyone who's like this, or I have a piece of content that people might find useful depending on what's going on. Even like as a realtor, if you have a lot of families in your following on social media, or you're in the mom groups, like I have this list of top schools in Broward County or in Miami-Dade County, or top private schools, depending on where you're posting, and see, collect that data, create a sheet, and ask people, do you want to just give me your email? I'll send it to you. It could be as simple as something like that. You'd be surprised how many people would be interested in something like that. I would be interested in something like that. What are the top neighborhoods? So as someone who doesn't specialize in that part of real estate. So find good content, relevant content. Don't have to be so serious, but depending on what you're doing, you could target your content to the relevant lists and tags that you have. What else? Did I miss anything else?
Video. It's all video. You want to make
videos.
sure that you're implementing video and text messages, which you went through.
Yes, exactly. I love that. I love that. So that's a wrap, right? And then know your numbers.
Yes.
Inspect what you expect, right? You use the CRM to be able to analyze where your leads are coming from, and if you're paying for leads, are they good leads, qualified leads? Is it worth the money that you're spending on them? I know some of those leads are very expensive, and I've had a lot of feedback that, after 6 months, 8 months, I'm not getting a return. Well, then you need to shut that funnel and turn it on somewhere else.
Let me just touch base on that for 2 minutes. That is important. I get a lot of agents that ask me, hey, what lead source do you use? Every lead has to be treated equally. You can't tell me that an old lead is going to be worse case than a new lead. It's the content that you're providing them and how you're hitting those people up and how you're engaging with them. But if you don't have a CRM, and you're not, and you're generating leads, that's a flop right there. You're going to fall on your face. So you need the CRM in order to build the workflows, in order to cater to the leads that are coming in. Whether it's a referral or you're buying leads or whatnot, even if it's a referral from a family member, you still need a workflow. What is your flow? How are you working? How are you operating? So.
Yeah.
The systems are what's super important in our business, because we get busy, whether it's with life or with business or our current deals. It's very easy to get thrown off track and forget who you have to follow up with, or forget how you want, like, right, we spend time building things out or saying, this is how I want my customer experience to be for my clients. But then when you're busy, if you don't have those systems in place to help you achieve that experience, you're not going to be able to give it to every single person in the same way. So that's why systems are so important. And the CRM is a tool in your system arsenal that needs to be built out, not only for your pre-engagement, right, in your sales process, but even for post, checking in and being part of that, because that post closing experience and follow up and check in and every quarter saying hi or whatever the case may be, that is them remembering you. And even if they don't have a deal for you or referral right then and there, they might have something else you could refer to. Some, it's a relationship business, right? So what are you doing now? Oh, I need to redo my roof, whatever. Okay, I know somebody for you. You refer to others will remember you, and they'll refer you when the time comes. And that's such an important thing, that givers gain mentality. If you give to others, you will benefit from that as a business. And it's even if it's not for you, that referral, it's just as valuable for others, and it will come back tenfold.
This is a relationship-based business. Just build the relationships. I have one of my agents now, we were working with the buyer, and they ended up having to put everything on hold. But the wife, she's in the medical industry and needed a new job. And it just so happens that my buyer's agents, I believe his mother-in-law works at a medical facility, and they're hiring. So look, connection, and what, you think that buyer's about to go buy with somebody else in the future? No, we just have to get a job.
Exactly.
It's about the relationships. So
it's so important. And then with that, build your arsenal, right? Like, if you meet people or you get recommended to different people, whether it's in the real estate industry or beyond, of professionals, businesses, keep that roster on hand and then tag them in a certain way to be organized, so that this way you have it ready to be able to refer to them. And if you don't have anyone in certain categories that you get asked for, go out and look for that person. Because imagine this, let's do a 15-minute Zoom call. I want to learn a bit about your business to see how I can refer you business. Like, imagine that person, like, you're going to be on their mind after that, because this person wants to refer me business. That's amazing. Like, let me keep them in mind to refer them business, right? So if you build out that list of that possible referral, like, to send out, it's an amazing tool. We built our business on that. It's a really great thing to do. So keep in mind, if you don't have that list and you have some downtime, build that list. Reach out to vendors, reach out to referral partners, people that you think might have. Attorneys are great referral sources. Divorce attorneys, probate attorneys, immigration attorneys, they all have people in transition, need attorneys, and they move real estate, right? And so that's a great way to build that roster and make those relationships. And then you could even start building your lawyer list and your this list and your that list. And it's a great strategy for you guys. So keep it up. If you haven't started, get started, right? What did you say? I heard today, you don't have to take big steps. It could even just be tiptoes, but just get started.
You got to start somewhere, man. You have
to start somewhere.
You got to do it, and then you have to continue implementing, and that's a CRM too. So
love it. All right, guys. I think we're wrapping up on the hour right now, so we're gonna call it a day. But we have, if I appreciate everyone showing up. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Chandra. Thank you, Anthony. This was a great. It definitely invigorated me to, I need to do some sprucing up myself. So it gave me a little fire. It'll be a little fire under my, so I'm going to do it. I promise. And then everybody else, tiptoes. Let's start tiptoeing, guys. Okay.
Yes.
Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.